Okay, so it's time to pour the cake batter into the pans. Let's get them ready with a little bit of, I've got some parchment paper rounds. You can either buy it in the round at a kitchen supply store, or you can just use a pair of scissors to cut it out of a piece of parchment paper. Parchment paper is not the same as wax paper, so be sure to use the right thing, but it will really help your cake release. All right, so I do a little bit of pan spray, making sure I get the sides of the cake pan. All right. And now I'm just going to divide the batter between these two pans. And you can eyeball it. You know, at the shop, we definitely we measure it out. But at home, I think you just eyeball it and it's going to work out really well. But you want to take a little bit of time and make sure that you're getting it fairly close to even between the two layers of cake. And then I'm going to put a little bit more in here. So just take a second to, I'm just going to sort of tap it down a little bit with my spatula. Get it ready to go. All right. Okay, so that's pretty evenly divided. We're going to throw that in the oven. It's a 350-degree preheated oven. Make sure that you preheat it before you stick the cakes in there. All right, let's get ready. We'll put them in there. Okay, so that's going to bake for about 40 minutes. Definitely check it with a tester or a sharp knife. It's going to rotate about halfway through the baking time. When that tester comes out clean, the cake is done. You want to let it cool in the pan for a little bit and then turn it on and definitely cool the cake completely on a wire rack before you start frosting it. All right, so I knew the cake was done because I tested it with a sharp knife and there was no crumbs. So it was done. It's cooled off for a few minutes and now I can kind of handle it. It's still a little bit warm. I'm going to take an offset spatula, or you can use a knife, just be careful, and run it around the edge of the cake just to make sure that it's totally loose from the sides. Now you can use your hand, or I'm going to use a plate on this just for safety. I'm going to invert the cake onto the plate. You can kind of hear it, it will fall down. That's just right. Now I'm going to peel the parchment paper off. That's an important step because no one likes parchment paper on their cake. And now I'm just going to invert it back onto the cooling rack to cool off. And this is really important. Cool it fully. You don't want it to be warm at all or else it's going to melt the frosting and give you a whole lot of headaches. So let it cool completely before you start frosting that.